My update. May 10, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. Just so everyone knows, I am running ragged in mad dog fashion. There is so much going on. I am constantly in motion and can't hope to keep up with correspondences and thank you notes and all the things that need to be done on a day-to-day basis, but I want you to know how much I and the Living Law firm appreciate all the help. It's coming in from all angles and in all forms, and we all feel truly blessed. We are keeping noses above water and the work is going forward. We are still fighting the rather major costs of travel expenses, but we got all the cases filed and all the recordings recorded. Job 1 is done. The rest we move forward on as need be. As Jesus said, each day has its own troubles. We will take them one by one, together. The first round has involved the clerks messing with the docket sheets. This is basically a matter of you invoking one court and the clerks placing your action in another court, the better to fleece you and make things convenient for them. They also try to mess around with the clearly stated names and capacities of the parties. For example, you name Peter M. Pig as the defendant and the clerks change the name to Peter M. Pig and change not only the name, but the capacity in which the defendant functions. Please be aware and stay sharp about the details of how your actions are being presented on the docket sheets, and as soon as you notice anything amiss, take exception to it and give notice that a mistake has been made and request correction. If it seems that the clerks are obstructing or manipulating, ask them flat out why they are doing this. You will often learn things about the internal workings and assumptions of the courts that you would never learn otherwise. Our issues with the government are all arbitration actions, and we are always acting as foreign nations with respect to any government actors. This is because any other kind of complaint or action is at cross purposes. Think about it. If you bring suit against a municipal character, a straw man in a municipal court, you have thrown the straw man into Brer Rabbit's briar patch. He is home free. And there is no way that the municipal court can act as a disinterested third party sitting in judgment between the foreign nation and one of its own franchisees. Same thing with the territorial courts. They cannot possibly act without conflict of interest when the plaintiff is a foreign nation and their own franchisees are the defendant parties. You have to use the municipal courts as arbiters against territorial officers, and you have to use territorial courts as arbiters against STRAWMEN, so that there are three separate and independent parties in each arbitration, and the courts are not in gross conflict of interest or allowed to redefine your issues to reduce and control them as mere internal administrative actions that the courts can dispose of with impunity. Most especially, you will want to know and stand your ground on who you are and in what capacity you are acting. Leave nothing to be assumed or presumed, nail down the exact identity, nature, and role of every party, including the court, before ever stating a claim or moving forward. This is just offered in the nature of a report from the field, where we are engaged every day and can observe how the clerks of court are circling the wagons and attempting to avoid actual prosecution of cases. If you set it up correctly, you run the table. Let them set the table, and you lose. It's also wise to realize that just because there is no obvious conflict of interest, the territorial and municipal governments have long been in collusion against Americans, and they help each other out whenever the opportunity arises. Some judges are more honest or more clannish than others, so you have to watch every move they make and every word they say, and take exception to all the offers they and the prosecutors make that are contrary to your interests. There are obvious offers, such as when judges practice law from the bench and offer to enter a plea for you, and there are far more subtle offers, as when the clerks change the form of a name on a docket sheet, or a prosecutor calls you a resident or addresses you as Mr. You must be very sharp and watchful and prompt, and take nothing for granted nor on trust when you deal with these courts, every step of the way, from correcting docket sheets to posting bonds and beyond. Anyway, watch the docket sheets carefully. The clerks win many cases for themselves simply by making mistakes on the docket sheets. You have 72 hours to respond once you see such mistakes. Thank you all for the continued support of our team in the trenches, for money and for prayers and for information shared.